Phoebe.
Ooh, so NPR. Hello, Jacqueline.
Hello. Phoebe, my question today is, do you ever feel like women are like the project managers of the world?
Oh, I'm like hot and cold. I'm like sweating and like shivering at the concept of this conversation. Wow. Look at you, eh?
I know.
Hi, I'm Phoebe.
Hi, I'm Jacque.
And welcome to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Where we ask the questions that everyone's thinking and no one's answering. There we go.
Oh, I thought you were doing a thing. I thought we were just we were playing. You were forgetting. You forgot today. Usually I'm the one that forgets our intro.
I know. I did forget, but also
all the time.
Whenever you play around with it, it really throws me off. My improv skills are not at a 10 right now.
I'm sorry. Whenever
I cannot say yes and.
I can never remember how we start. I cannot say yes and. Whenever we start, I can't remember it, but whenever I'm explaining the podcast to somebody, I'm like, it's called Do You Ever Feel Like, where we ask the questions that like I do the intro for for the people.
Yes. When people ask me what this podcast is about, I'm like, I have no idea.
We ask the questions that everyone's thinking.
I'm like, we ask a lot of questions. There's a different topic each week. Hopefully it feels like you're like hanging with your gal pals. That's the point. You know?
Mm-hmm. I've gotten
That's
that.
what I say.
That. We got a cute review that said it feels like co-working, which is like the highest of compliments.
Highest of compliments.
I love that one.
That's great. I would love to be a great coworker.
I'm bad. I'm a bad coworker. I interrupt everyone in an office. I'm not allowed to be in an office legally, I feel. I need to be kept like 30 feet from all offices. When I worked in an office, I didn't have eyebrows.
Actually, I love that look for you. Can we bring it back?
I really, really want to. It's what's her name? Julia Fox doesn't have eyebrows right now, and I'm like, fuck. Like all the girlies are getting rid of their eyebrows again. I'm like, I've already been having no eyebrows. Do I have to do this again? But it's best when you don't have bangs, so you can kind of have a forever forehead with your no eyebrows. And that's what I really like about it, because people look at you and they're like, what's wrong with her? I can't quite figure it out. You can't quite place it. And then you like catch the hair in the light, and they're like,
yeah.
It's great. It's great. It's good.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite thing to do, you and I
was
confuse the shit out of people.
I was gonna say, like, the more my father-in-law told me, he said, I didn't like when you had no eyebrows. It was scary to me. And I was like, that is my goal in life, is to be scary to men. Like, I'm not. Oh, I'm sorry.
My goal in life is to be terrifying and confusing.
I mean, to all people, but like mostly men is what I'm after. I'm like, I really don't talk to me. Don't look at me. And if you can be scared of me, that's best.
I was so proud of you this weekend because you talked to so many men.
Thank you. And I didn't get anyone sent to jail, including me.
None.
Thank you. Thank
you. No, thank you, Phoebe.
Well, you know what? But you sat me next to men that could handle me making fun of them appropriately. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. If I'm going to talk to a man, this podcast has really got too, like, it just is my hatred towards, and this question today. Wow. Look at you. I'm going to be so popular after this. But like, that's it, right? It's like, I think it's also because I have brothers. Like, I have brothers, and also I just don't talk to me. No one talk to me, but especially men don't talk to me.
No, I hear you.
You can't be out here in these streets just smiling at people.
Willy-nilly.
No.
How are you after you traveled back?
Oh, it's fine.
What's
it was
going
good.
On?
I don't know. I can't do anything this week. I can't.
Me either.
I can't do anything. I woke up today way late and like didn't feel motivated by by time. Like I was like, I woke up late today. I'm gonna clean my kitchen and watch an episode of the Gilmore Girls. Like, what is? I can't.
Yeah.
So it's just, it is what it is. I've found like with traveling, I have to like not, or just doing anything. I mean, you just did a whole thing, but I have to like not make a lot of promises to myself and like slowly get back into routine, because Lord knows I didn't for however I don't even know. Someone asked me, they're like, how long were you away for? And I was like, I don't know.
No, you literally did not remember. People were like, when did you get in, Phoebe? And you were like, I don't know.
I've always been here. I've always been in Philadelphia.
I live here. Love it.
Yeah. I'm like, would you like me to take you around town? Let me tell you about the Bell. Which I didn't
Phoebe
see.
Everyone was obsessed with the idea of you seeing the Bell. Just like so. Like, I'm sorry, but Phoebe's the last person who gives any fucks about this thing.
I couldn't even tell you what it does. I mean, I had to keep asking. Okay, this is like a podcast episode. I don't think I've said this on the podcast, but Americans really love to think that the whole world revolves around like the United States.
Yeah.
It's in. I'm flabbergasted by it constantly.
Yeah,
constantly. Yeah. But like people will just like say things and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm not from here. Like, I don't know where this like city is that you're talking about.
I know. I think in one of our conversations, I was like so appalled that you didn't know what the Kennedy Center was. And you were like, I am not from here.
No. I mean, I'm sure my mom might be irritated with me about that, but it's like, yeah, do you know a performing arts center in Canada? Like, no. What I find so weird about it is like the expectation or blank stare that you get after. Like I even went into a Subway when I was driving back home and I'd asked for sub sauce and like I got a blank stare. Which is what we call like vinaigrette or whatever you put on like a sub. Okay. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, maybe you don't call it that. Like, I'm not from here. And they just went like, what do you want? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I apologized for not knowing the thing. Like, I said it and I was like, oh, Phoebe. Maybe that's not what people, I find it's so weird. And I've spent a lot of time in the States and it never stops being like a very funny thing to me is all I'll end that there. Yep. So anyway, my trip was good.
Assholes.
Fun. I don't want to simplify it into that. And like, that's why I don't because it really is, but it's like even, but it's like the way I don't know, like Canada bends to it, you know? And I don't, but I don't know why people wouldn't want to, like, we learn a lot about American history and I don't know in school, and I don't know why it wouldn't be the same thing. Like our countries influence each other. Like why wouldn't, like things that happen in the States, or I mean, I see the same thing in Canada too. When like, you know, when Roe v. Wade was overturned and people were like, thank God I don't live down there. It's like, you dumb idiots. Like, what do you think is going to happen up here? Like, people like to act like it's so different. I guess that's maybe what I kind of feel. I don't know. It's always a little bit more of like a cultural, I wouldn't call it shock, but like shift. Whenever I'm down there. So anyway,
you have to I don't know, not pump yourself up, but you have to like get yourself ready. Like, all right.
Yes.
Going into the world of total self-involvement where no one knows anything else about the world. Going into the world of America exists and nothing else does. Yes. Driving over the border.
Yeah. I did. I crossed the border back home and like, I was like, ugh, look, our highway signs are written in a way I can understand now. So.
Yeah, exactly. World of confusion.
It was good. It was good. I was very proud of myself for, it was like less of a big deal to drive than I thought it. I don't know. In my head, it was, I think because we met when the border was closed, like it's always felt like such a big deal. But I'm like, oh, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not. So anyway.
Yeah.
But also I love my bed, so I'm happy to be home.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing like I literally sat in my bed on Tuesday night and I was like, oh,
nothing better.
Goldilocks style. Yeah. Yeah. What about you? How are you doing post all the stuff?
I'm so tired.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've been asleep since Tuesday when you left. I literally feel like I've just been sleeping. Yeah, like no one really, everyone's like says to you like stay present, like stay in the moment, stay present, like soak it all up. But like no, I don't think no one accurately could have warned me. I think
you had quite a like I've never heard of this many things not just going wrong. Like not just like, oh, that's so like, oh, it didn't go the way we planned, like boulders, like actual boulders in your way that you were just like constantly climbing over to have this wedding. So
I know. It felt so like I was like, of course. Like, you know, of course this is happening to us.
Yeah.
because of course, because that's how this whole thing has always been. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well,
I appreciated your sweet note because that meant a lot. Because I was like, yeah, no, Phoebe was like really seeing like, wow, the commitment here. Like, we are going to keep on moving it. We're going to keep on trying, you know? That's how it felt.
Well, and that's how you have to be in those things too, right? It's just like, what am I going to do? Get it, like,
what am I going to do? Tell everyone to go home?
Or like fall apart or like, it's just like, I kind of think there is like, you know, as much as I say, like, you know, to people as my job is like, you know, feel your feelings or whatever, but it's like, sometimes we just got to keep it moving for a hot second because we don't have a minute to feel a feeling.
No.
You know, we'll do that later.
Yeah. That's kind of, I think, what's happening now is like I'm really feeling all the feelings. And like the good too. Like the great. You know, it was beautiful.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm definitely like, whew. Wow.
Yeah.
And like this is so apropos that we're going to talk about this today because I was talking to my friend and they were like, Jacqueline, like you did that.
Yeah.
Like you did that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you had people and you delegated and whatever, but like you planned that whole thing and you like you
delegating. Delegating is like not people
what is that?
Helping. It's like the task gets done, but like making a decision to, I mean, this is what we're talking about, is like making a decision that a thing needs to get done is, I would say 90% of the task.
It's all of the task.
Of the time. Yeah.
The decision is all of the task for sure. So, and they were like, you need to take it, like recognize that, like take a second and recognize that because like it's true. Like, I mean, I think a lot of people in my position do everything. Yeah. I think a lot of women having a wedding do make all of the like do everything. Yeah. But it was on another level with me. For a lot of different reasons. And so I think that that's a lot of what the rest is too, is like honoring that I just put in a lot of effort and time and energy, you know?
Yeah. Visioning. Strategy. It was one of the like most thoughtful weddings I've ever been to too. Like actual, I don't know, you go to people's weddings and it's like, I mean, we know how I feel about weddings.
I know how
and
you feel.
It's like a canned, boring experience, or it's like, you know, people have stressed out about something that's like, was I telling you I saw a TikTok about the oyster shells?
Oh my God.
All these oyster shells. It's like, what is that? What is that?
That's what I mean. Like there's a certain amount of labor I was willing to put myself through. And then there was certain things I wasn't with. Like I was just like, I don't care about this. Yeah. You know, like whatever.
Yeah. And like dragging everybody down with me too is a whole other thing. So yes, no, it was lovely. I had a lovely time.
I'm glad. Good.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it feels you don't need to do it again.
I know. I know that's kind of what felt really cool about it too, is like I had a perfect wedding day.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Like I got married at a courthouse and we were alone and it was perfect. Like I didn't need this to be perfect. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone needs it to be, but you know what I mean? Like that pressure of this day, like going totally well, like it was never going to happen and I didn't need it to happen. Like I literally did not need it to be perfect because I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already married, you know? So
I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
But it was perfect in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyways.
Well, what do you want to bring to the pod? What are we chatting about today?
Yes. I feel my question is do you ever feel like women are the project managers of the world? And I just feel like this has been a theme in like my life in conversation with, you know, the other girlies and stuff like that. But I see it everywhere. I see it all the time. It's so obvious to me that women literally are like women's brains are working overtime.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
And sometimes I just think this is like, I'm just like, what if this wasn't what if I didn't have this in me or other women didn't have this in them? Like how nice would it be to just like be a man and lay on a couch?
Oh my God. And like, I know.
And like
not think of all the things.
About anything. Like, and I think this expands to like so many different avenues, like in so many ways. But I think ultimately women feel extremely responsible for the state of everything. And
oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
And do like all of like the worrying, the evaluating, the noticing, the da-da-da-da, like that labor is like in us or it's given to us or it's passed to us or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just, what is this? You know?
I know. And yes. I think you're so right. I mean, I see it. I remember like kind of the first time I realized that as, I mean, I'm also an oldest daughter too. And I feel
this is what I mean.
It just defaults to me often, whatever the decision is. And I think decision making is it's kind of a joke with some of my friends, but like I can't make a decision. Like it's like what do you want for dinner? Like I'm like looking at a menu or something like that, or like we're like what are we gonna do? I'm like I don't care. I just don't care enough. Like I say all the time, I wish on every menu they just had like a roulette card. Like I don't care. And I think it's because I'm just so tired of making a decision every single day. And I know the internet loves to talk about decision fatigue, but I just like, I don't even feel like that is enough of a word to describe like all of the things that I'm thinking about at any given time. I mean, like this morning, for no reason, I decided to clean my kettle because it was gross looking. And I didn't need to, but I did because I saw that and I was like, that's a task that needs to get done now.
Yeah.
So, and there's many reasons that certain tasks don't get done in my house for many a reason. But I think the defaulting is the problem. And it's something that, I mean, I've talked about in my relationship for a long time. Like Simon and I have been living together since we were 19, 20. And like I remember noticing like right away, like, no. This is not right. And it's so hard. It's so hard. And it's so hard when you walk into a room and everyone looks at you and go, they're like, there, she'll solve our problems.
Yes.
It's like heads turn.
Totally. Yeah. And I think like this is evident in, you know, our homes. It's evident in office dynamics. It's evident in friendships. It's evident in like, it's evident everywhere that like women are just going to, they're not even going to solve the problem, but the problem is already solved.
Yes.
Like it's already being dealt with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and all scenarios have been imagined and planned for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Glennon Doyle and Abby Wambach, they talk about how they discovered this issue in their relationship really early.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've created a word for it. Glennon, as you know, with her children and everything, was like saying, oh, I'm the one who's always considering and thinking and evaluating and making lists and blah, 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 and making sure everybody, you know, whatever. And it's not enough to, which is where I'm going with some of this other stuff, but like, it's not enough to, you know, have someone like, whatever, like basically it didn't feel equitable in their relationship. And so they came up with this term called tinkering.
Yeah.
That women are tinkering all of the time about what's coming up, what's coming forward, how it's going to work, what's going to happen, you know what I mean, et cetera, et cetera. And are craving, especially in partnership and in relationship, like someone who's also tinkering with them, not just like helping. You know what I mean? Like helping, like honestly, one of the most obnoxious things that Jack can say to me, even though he truly is trying, is how can I help you?
No, go die. Just get out of
here. Go die.
Just fucking leave. Just fuck off. Because that requires the same amount of thinking and planning and going, what activity is appropriate for the person here in front of me, and making a decision for somebody else. That is not partnership. And it fucking, I mean, I see it out in the world. I find it horrifying when
it's terrifying.
Women post, you know, like I see like a reel or a TikTok or something like that, or out in the world, and they're like, oh, dad puts the kids in the back seat, but like I always have to double check that he actually put their like seatbelts on properly. And it's like, what the fuck? Like there are so many single married women out there.
Oh yeah.
There are so many single parents that are in partnership.
Yeah.
It's like,
no,
what
I
the
believe
fuck
that
is
like
the point?
I definitely believe, especially in partnership, and if we're talking specifically partnership where there are two people involved, that there is one person that is carrying most of the load and the labor, and the other person is following. And like that is fucking terrifying to me. Like I like absolutely not. Like no. And there are people in my life who legitimately believe that that it's just that men are just men. You know what I'm saying?
Like they can't on some sort of like that makes me feel like a crazy person. Like nothing makes me feel more insane. I mean, I'm trying to decide. This is always the question on the podcast: who gets doxxed? I have heard so many times. I mean, having brothers, my sister and I talk about this all the time. The amount of stuff, labor, shit that got thrown onto our plate. I mean, even now, I've mentioned this before. It's like I can be however old I want. If we were at my mom's house, like I am being asked for a cup of tea by somebody in the living room, and it's like I'm sitting in the living room as well. And so it's same thing. And I find, because it's the expectation is the craziest part, but then also I'll hear people like, well, they just can't help, they just don't know how. I'm like, well, what's wrong with them? Are they broken somewhere? Like,
the worst is when I hear, well, men can't multitask. I'm like,
I mean, this is like the obvious, maybe it's not the obvious question, but I just kind of go like, what about like trans men? Like, what about trans
of course.
women? It's
absolutely.
Just like, what the fuck?
Of course. Like when there's any kind of binary
non-binary
anywhere,
people, it's just like,
no, absolutely.
It makes me feel like a crazy person. I don't even like that word. It makes me feel like I'm not on this planet. Like we aren't sharing the same air.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? And also like, I don't know what that means.
No.
Like when anyone says something like any kind of definitive statement like that, I'm like, okay, and like, so that means what?
Great.
Okay,
Learn
so
and
men
grow.
are men are incapable of multitasking. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
What? No, like I don't understand, and I think it's like I'm going here. I think it's like a thing that women have to tell themselves that are deeply unhappy in the
Yes.
situation that they're in
Yes.
to justify
Oh, haha.
the behavior.
Yeah, it's so cute. It's so funny. Isn't it so funny
Exactly.
that my husband babysits his own children?
I can't.
Isn't
No.
that ha 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 ha?
No.
Instead of
I'm in a
looking at
public-
like a real like systemic, like looking at your dirty shit. And then also because you have to look at yourself, right? Because it's not just pointing the finger at the other person. You have to be like, oh, I've been putting up with this. That doesn't sound like a fun activity. So we'll just laugh it off. Ha 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 ha.
Laugh it off. And here's the thing. Like, I don't blame these women.
No.
Right? And I don't blame the men even. I don't I blame white supremacy. I blame patriarchy. I blame all of these things, right? Yeah. And I also understand why women are willing to kind of carry the superhero cape, right? Because like there is some sense of unfortunate, disgusting, like accolade and pride that our society kind of exactly with the cape like gives us or gives women who do that, right? Of like you can look at the woman doing it all. She can do it all. She can run a family. She can run a business. She can have like blah blah blah. She can do it all. And it's like so like whether of course if these are your options, if these are your boxes, of course you're going to laugh at when your husband can't put your kids in your car seat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or otherwise you're going to like literally fall apart. Like, you know, like, so I get it. Like, I understand. Yeah. And as speaking from someone who is like actively every day trying to like unlearn that, you know what I mean?
Oh,
unlearn like we talked about in our previous episode, this idea of like doing so much gives you like you're such a good woman because you can do so much and stay so small or whatever it is. Like that is I'm trying to not unlearn that. And that creates a whole other set of issues.
Yeah.
You know?
I had my therapist say to me recently, because I was talking more specifically about like anxiety and that like I see a scenario and then game out every single possible thing that could go wrong so that I can deal with it. And I had said something to her along the lines of like, isn't that like cuckoo bananas of me? Like, I just hate that. I just don't like that. And she was like, well, you're not wrong. Like, you're not wrong for thinking that, you know, like that this would fall to you. You're not wrong for like having to figure that out for yourself because you've always had to, because you've always been like the caretaker kind of thing. And it's like, oh yeah. Because like, you know, to your point, it's like, I don't blame anybody in these situations because it's just everything. It's like this insane pressure from all sides, from everybody. I mean, even from people. The thing that really makes me spiral the most is when I hear, you know, my aunts, my mom, like women that I admire so much that have done so much say those reductive things like men can't multitask or something like that, because it's just go like, well, what's there left? Like, how are we is this just my life? Like, there's so much like finality to that really frustrates me. And I just kind of go like, should I even bother rejecting this? Should I just like you know, get in line? Because I don't want to. I don't want to. That sucks.
Absolutely. So I don't know if folks are familiar, but there's this book that I read and I have, and it's so good. It's called Fed Up by Gemma Hartley. Fed Up, Emotional Labor, Women, and the Way Forward. And Gemma Hartley wrote a Harper's Bazaar article before she wrote this book. And the Harper's Bazaar article was something like, women aren't nags, we're fed up.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was all about emotional labor being like the unpaid job that men don't see.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so she wrote this article. It was in Harper's Bazaar. And then she wrote this book as a follow-up. And yes, obviously coming at this issue from a very specific lens of the heteronormative partnership, right? Mm-hmm. Even though I do think that there is a section in it that speaks to other forms of partnership and marriage, et cetera, and even talks about how in those regards, it's usually like the maternal or the femme or the whatever partner that is being stuck with all of this labor. And is kind of exactly like the project manager of their own lives, their partners' lives, the children's lives, the house, their jobs, like everything. Highly recommend reading this book. One of the arguments kind of against this stuff, not against, but in the same way that people say things like men can't multitask, right? Yeah. Is like, well, like, how important is it that these things that like women feel, and this is so anti-women too, and it like makes me want to scream, but like, how important is it that every grandparent gets a birthday present on their birthday? Or how important is it that the bathroom gets cleaned every week? Or how important is it that blah, 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 blah. And one of the things is kind of like, it's not, it's not like, one of these arguments is like, you all are doing it to yourselves, essentially. Nobody's telling you that you have to do all of this or that all of this has to run in this way. You are doing this to yourself. You are putting yourselves up against one another for the cleanest bathroom, the best, cards, the blah, 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 right?
That's what I have to say about that.
And I mean, I can tell you, I can name like on multiple things, like on many a hand, the women in my life who have been like speaking to whoever it is, boss, friend, husband, partner, wife, whatever, and that has had that thrown in their face, that has said, well, you just want this to be a certain way. This isn't my problem, right? Or
versus the expectation that like you would just, oh my God, could you imagine showing up to somebody's house for dinner and their, pillows weren't like puffed and their their house wasn't vacuumed? That woman would be ostracized from like the PTA. Like that the things that would be assumed about that family would, like, I can't even, like the whole thing comes crumbling down, because I think cleaning is actually a really great, not even just example, but it's actually kind
tangible.
But it's the veneer of it. Like it's like the shell that all of this stuff is encapsulated in, because the second that starts coming down, the rest of it comes down.
It's like it's like I feel like I was about to say everyone, but honestly, most women can relate to being in a group project in high school or middle school and being the only one who seemed to give a fuck, and then like stomping their feet, right? We're all like pissed and angry that we're the only one who cares, the only one who wants to do anything, or the only one whatever. And then it's like having all the people in the group look at you and go, well, why do you care so much? Right? Like that is
which I think is so funny. I think it's so funny. This specific example is very funny to me because I had failed grade 10, grade 9 math. I had failed math at some point in high school. Had to go to summer school, and then went into the horrible. Do they do this in the States? They like, the like dumb kid math. Like I had to go into like the dumb kid math,
remedial math.
Yeah. And I remember 2 guys. We had to do like a math project,
Oh,
and
no.
2 guys like came over like, we're going to be in your group together. And I looked up and I was like, why? And they had said like, well, you're the smart one. And I was like, I'm in the same dumb class as you. Like,
yeah, we're all here together.
I can't. Wait a second. Like, I think that's such a hilarious example of like, yeah, we're in the same boat, but because of all the stuff, because of all this external stuff, I am apparently the intelligent one here. Oh,
Yeah.
you are in for a shock.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, one of the angles that Gemma talks about in the book is that this idea, right? Like, wait, are we just doing this to ourselves? Hold on. Like, let's break that down and actually try to figure out that if that is true, and not necessarily, again, like it's because of things that are out of like, right, like were done to us. It has nothing to do with whatever. But like let's just examine this for a second and see like if it were us doing this to ourselves, would we choose it or whatever? And what's scary is like there is, I think, some truth to that, right? Like,
well, it is certainly
in the sense of go ahead.
That's what I mean. Like, no, well, there is certainly like there is the pressure of it getting done.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There is the pressure of it getting done.
I think too, like when we talk about, God, it goes down to so many things. Like when we talk about like women being likable, or when we talk about women, like you're saying, like the woman who doesn't have the fluffed pillows is then ostracized from the PTA or whatever, right? Like the threat of being unlikable is literally like would cause death.
But that trickles down into like, every section of it, right? Because it's like if the pillows aren't fluffed and you're ostracized from the PTA, then your kid's not going to get invited to the birthday party, and therefore they're not going to get into the college that they want, and therefore they're not going to, it's like not like any of these things are quote unquote true, but the anxiety of it all is so tied to this thing. There's this really great woman I love on TikTok who just wrote a book. Her name's Anne Russell, and she does like cleaning tips. Like, here's how to clean this. And people will be like, Anne, how do I clean this thing? Which I love. Right. Because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I am extremely stressed out by the cleanliness of my house at all times, of course. But the beginning of her book starts with, it's like this literal how to, I think it's like how to clean your home. You know, she pulls it out as this like little how-to, but in between are like these beautiful essays sprinkled in between, like, you know, how to bleach your sheets and when. But it starts off with like having a clean home only means that your house is clean. Like it doesn't mean all of these other things that we've assigned to it. And that's what I mean. I think cleaning is like this. It's the shell. It's the thing that's like it's all dipped in. Because without, it's like what encases all of it. Yeah.
I mean, when I talk like this, when I say survival, like I'm like literally like being liked by men, being liked by other women, whatever, was at some point a form of survival.
Yes.
Like you could, like you would die if you were unaccepted. And so there has got to be a part of us fundamentally that believes that we are in serious threat, right? If we are not doing these things. Like that very much, like, maybe I shouldn't say we, right? Maybe I should say I really do believe that is in me, that like, if I'm not project managing or I'm not fluffing pillows or I'm not whatever, sending like my aunt's boyfriend a birthday card, like whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not doing that there's a real threat to me. Like like and that is a terrible burden. And I think it's really real. I think it really is I don't think I'm dramatic in saying that, like in saying that. I don't.
No, I don't think so either. And then I think, I mean, like I said, like, you know, I think of like my aunts and my mom and like my examples of being a woman and like
Mm-hmm.
and how I was told whether or not, what is it Glennon Doyle that calls them like the memos that we get being passed down?
Maybe,
or
yeah.
maybe it's a Brene Brown. I don't know. One of the girls.
Mm-hmm. One of the white women.
One of the white women that we all love to point to.
Right.
But the passers down of the memos that I have, and whether or not they meant to pass these memos down or
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing, that's all up for negotiation, I feel. But I hear the way that they speak about doing these certain activities and tasks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Barbara always sends everybody a birthday card, and I'm a bad woman because I'm not Barbara, because I can't get my shit together enough because I'm not sending out birthday cards. And like, that's the thinking that I find, because you're right. It's not just I want to be liked. It's this like judgment of self because I'm not doing something. And that is so much more. And then, I grew up hearing all of these things. So now it's insidious, and it's all these memos that are out floating around the wind. And I think a lot of the time, if we were to examine these things about ourselves, we would go, wait a second, like that's pretty silly. Like that's like a thing that's probably a belief I don't actually have, or a value that's not important to me, but there's like some friction and incongruency there within myself. But I'm at the same time like giving it space inside me, and like and because it's okay, and because women feel like it's okay to like break off pieces of themselves, right? It's like, oh, I'm just bad. I'm just bad. So like, don't worry about me. Like I can't even sweep. What am I doing?
Yeah. And then when we add on, it's almost like this anger that we identify in society as women being nags, right? Like it's like this, like, it's like it's like the anger is not at the one person who's also not doing the thing, right? It's like the anger is all of this. The anger is all of these layers of stuff bubbling up. The anger is the survival of, if I don't even ask you in a certain way to do this for me, then you might not do it. And then, or like, if I don't even express my anger in a way that is computable to you, that is digestible to you, that is kind enough to you, that is whatever, then the emotion is not seen as legitimate, right? Or like
weaponized.
And it's weapon.
Yeah.
It's like it's like how like
what I find so interesting. Or go ahead.
And so it's like an impossible like maze that we're constantly on of expectation and then of like blowing it up and then you get back on it again because like, and again, it's not just in relationship, partnership. I mean, I've seen and heard this in all of like, you know what I mean? Like if in a lot of ways, like that, whoever the maternal friend is usually the one with all the labor, right? Like whoever it's, and I just want to know, like, what the fuck do we do about this?
No, it's because when you brought up this question initially, like, yes, I see and feel that in my relationship. It's something I just refuse to engage in. And we've been on our own journey with that, Simon and I together. But the way it makes me, and maybe it's because, I get to go to my partner and I get to say like, this is pissing me off. Like, this is not right. This is not like just, this is not feminist. Like, this is not these, like, I explicitly do not want this. And I can go to him and say that. But in the rest of the world and the rest of my life, where it brings me so much like friction and frustration and really pisses me off, and where my mind jumps to, is these places where I certainly didn't sign up for this, and it feels like it's being thrust upon me, like with, you know, male friends. I mean, I never had a lot of dude friends growing up, and I still don't now, and it has been because I just find the jump. And I mean, like, if I go to a party and I'm like talking to a guy, I'm now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I got this girl problem. Like, what do I do about this? And it's like, we are strangers. And like, you are so much closer to the men in this room, or quote unquote closer. But because I'm a woman, I have to do this like emotional labor for you. And I'm just like trying to have a white wine spritzer here, my guy. Like, and like, that's the thing. Or like same, like working in an office. Oh my God. Working in an office again makes me feel cuckoo bananas. Like the number of times I got coffee for clients, the number of times I cleaned an office, like, and the number, like, that just simply didn't happen. Or like lunch would arrive for the office and all of a sudden I'm getting plates and serving people.
Exactly.
Like, the places in my life where not only did I not sign up for this, but like there is no space for me to tell, like, if my partner, I will and do tell him to fuck off. And you can't, can I say that to rando man number 2, James? James or a Ben or a whatever, fucking they're always, you know,
Teddy.
I just because then like you said, anger, because then I'm crazy, then I'm a crazy woman. Oh my God, how dare
I feel like this like question popped up in my brain because I had a very interesting experience yesterday. It wasn't interesting. No, it actually wasn't interesting at all. It was like typical. It was of the day. It was
boring.
like, it was the most boring thing. And I was like, holy mother of God. Like, this is what I'm fucking talking about. Like, I was at the grocery store. Nothing
the land
happens.
Of all
Nothing good
friction.
happens.
No.
I was at the grocery
We all need to stop going there.
I'm at the grocery store, and this person, I'm not out here to tell people who they are, but this man from all my eyes could see, you know what I'm saying? Like, drops a pasta thing, like a jar, a can in the pasta thing, right? In the pasta aisle, whatever. This man,
strike one.
First of all, strike one for even, like, strike one for being out of your house. A, B. Strike one for being in the grocery. Strike two for being in the grocery store with me. Okay, so drops this pasta can of sauce, right? Whatever. This thing of sauce. All over the shelf, all over the floor, all over themselves.
Oh, dear.
Whatever. It was a mess. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no, oh, no. I'm in the aisle. Surprisingly, there's another lady in the aisle, another gal pal. This man.
And you raise your arms up and we go, sisters in Christ, we shall revolt. Come with me. And do not touch the pasta.
Do not touch the sauce. Nope. This man goes to the bathroom, like runs over, gets paper towels in the bathroom.
So he knows.
Comes out.
He knows what paper towels are.
Yeah, comes out. We're awful. And
No, we're not. Because this is
I know.
Is the thing.
No. Yes.
This is the thing.
This is the thing. Comes out and starts to clean himself off with the paper towels. Doesn't bring any, like, all of us were immediately like, oh, like, let me help. Of course, all the women around him were like, oh, let me help.
Why even come out of the bathroom?
So, okay, yeah, that's bizarre. But comes out with only enough paper towel to clean himself off, not enough to clean up the area. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when I tell you that this man like cleans his pants off and then just walks to the checkout aisle and goes to check out, and then these women are all there going and getting paper towel, grabbing things, moving the other pasta cans that got like, you know, stuff on them. And this man just leaves and goes and checks out and moves on with his day.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay. And the women are like, we're all together. We're buzzing. We're like, you go get a paper towel. Like, I'll get like cleaning stuff. Then somebody who comes over who works there, also a woman, like is figuring whatever, like has to take some of the stuff off of the shelf to clean it. Like it was a disaster. It was like honestly, it was like a very elaborate, like, I don't even know, like I don't know. I don't even know. Like some kind of like movie moment, right? Where just like something explodes and like, no, just left, like cleaned off his own pants and left. And I was like, this is what I'm like, this is what, like this moment. I was like, this is what I'm fucking talking about. Like, this is what we're saying is like the responsibility that women feel to keeping everything okay, to themselves and other people, to keeping the status quo, to whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? And all of the women, including me, noticed that he left and said something.
Wow.
To each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Anyway, and all could have said something. All could have walked up to this person.
Yeah.
All could have made it a big deal. All could have.
That man is lucky I was not there that day.
There's a sense of and almost did, obviously. Like that's something that I would do. But like there was definitely a sense of like, I'm scared. Like I'm actually terrified for my own being to go and make that a thing with that man. You know what I mean?
100%.
So like
100%.
And of course, like, and it's just, this is what I'm saying when I say like, how much of this is like, is full on survival.
Well, you're yes. I was going to say to your point about like not being liked, because it's not all that. It's not being liked.
Will this man harm me?
Yeah.
Will this man kill me?
Yeah.
Literally. If I say something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where I get so bamboozled with like, I think, I mean, in my mind, I don't know why my mind went here because it doesn't go there very often of like what, you know, the misogynists have been out in these streets extra loud lately.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe that's why I don't see a lot of it because I don't go there. But I'm thinking of like the men with the podcasts. That's what I'm thinking of, like the men with the podcasts. And when they say things like, whatever, women do this to themselves or something like that, like, or there is some sort of like genetic predisposition for paper towels.
Exactly.
Something like that. I can't engage with it because for many reasons, but one of the things I just think is like, oh, this is so stupid.
It's so stupid.
Like it's so unintelligent. But it's not just unintelligent. It's not recognizing. I mean, it's not recognizing of many things, and it is unintelligent in many ways. But it is disregarding the harm and the history that this action of picking up pasta sauce has.
And it's not, this whole thing of like. I know that there would be people in my life who would be like, well, that man was just an asshole. And it's like,
no.
There's so much more playing out here, right? And like, it's just an interesting, I think this isn't fed up as well. Or, the argument again or the argument that people throw out when it comes to things like racism, right? That they're like, oh, well, it's so much better. Or, oh, well, it this doesn't exist anymore because look at how the world is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or this idea of like, well, racism is only a problem for certain people, right? Or sexism is only an issue for certain people. It's like, no. Like it how much more fruitful, how much more beautiful, how much more full, how much more alive, how much more whatever will these men be to grow and evolve and be in real partnership, or to be real parents, or to be real members of the community and clean up pasta sauce. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like dismantling these things is helpful to all.
Oh my God.
Involved.
It's like, I mean, it's like,
and that's,
I always think it's so funny. Like, the economics of racism are very bad.
The economics of women staying home to raise their kids and not being in the workforce. Like this is what I'm saying. Like, it's like, and that feels so stupid. Like, it feels so stupid, right? Like you're saying, to even have to go there, to even have to put that out there as like an obvious thing. But people legitimately don't believe that. They think that emotional labor in the house or in the office or whatever is a woman's problem. They think that childcare is a woman's problem. They think that blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no. This is an all of us issue.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, and like, don't even get me started on the fact that I was the only white lady in that situation.
Yeah.
And it was all women of color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, once again, I mean, when we have these conversations about like patriarchy and like women and stuff like that, it always kind of sticks up in my mind of like, not even just sticks up in my mind. It's part of the conversation of like anger, for example. You know, if I get angry, it is not the same as a Black woman getting angry. I mean, I say this with my friends. I love that Key and Peele sketch, the Obama's anger translator. Like, that's a joke that I have with my friends all the time. It's like, well, you can't be angry, so like just call me and I'll yell at somebody. Like, that's the thing that I think of all the time. But like, it's not. It's like both a whole other conversation and the exact same thing all at once. It's not the exact same. It's part of the conversation and not part of this conversation at the same time. And I think when, because this podcast, we speak from our perspectives most of the time. It's just, ugh. I don't have any words because it's so, I don't want to use the word muddy or what, all these things, but.
I think it's so easy for, I think something that did you hear about that article? I'm the one who notices when the toilet paper is out article.
Oh, no, we were talking about, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like, came out like, I don't know, like 2016. It was like a blog post from like a mommy blogger. And it was just like paragraphs. I'll find it. I'll put it in the show notes. Paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of all the things that she notices, evaluates, memorizes, like as a mom and as a woman and as like the person project managing and keeping the house going. And I just am like, what would happen, which they also talk about in Fed Up, if we all just were like, no.
Yeah, on strike.
Like what? Like what? Yeah, quite literally,
I think what would happen? Cited this on the pod before, but like the cost of women's like domestic labor. Like if you were to hire like a personal chef, a cleaner, like childcare, like and I'm talking about like women that are working too, like all of these like things that get done, like the amount of labor that gets done for free. And
there's a section. There's a section in the blog post where she specifically is like, I don't notice the last time we went out on a date night. I don't notice the last time we whatever, like trying to say like I don't notice like the fun shit that goes missing, right? Or isn't there, because like how am I supposed to do that? There's so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think the expectation that women are supposed to work, not supposed to, the expectation that women can do all of these things and also memorize like their children's shoe size. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
what? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like, and I think this also translates to a lot of the conversation that you and I are having in our lives right now of like wanting to do motherhood or not.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my goodness, am I going to be the only one worried about shampoo ingredients? Or even not only am I going to be the only one worried about shampoo ingredients, but am I going to be the only one who even knows to be worried about shampoo ingredients? Because I don't want that.
No, I know. That's the thing, right? It's like it's such a fucking trap of I don't want that, and I am lassoed to it.
Yes.
Currently.
Mm-hmm.
And it I went to go see Don't Worry Darling a couple weeks ago, and I feel, as somebody who works at home, Simon leaves during the day. I'm very rarely out of my gym jams when he leaves. And that gives me a lot of crap inside of my mind's eye. Like that makes me feel like a bad woman, which is stupid, which is dumb. But also it's everything tells me that I should be like, you know, whatever. I should be up and doing whatever already. So is it stupid? I don't know. But I thought it was so funny in this, like, and I won't spoil Don't Worry Darling for anyone, but in this like, you know, glossy world of like, of nostalgia, of women in a certain place, in a domestic place. Florence Pugh is like always in her nightie when Harry Styles would leave during the day. And I found that, I thought that was such a funny, like there's some sort of and they're doing a thing with it, but there's like this relaxation or ease that comes with this. And I thought it was, I don't know, it just really stuck out in my mind as like in this painting of this picture. This is like a detail that we left, and like that it wasn't, you know, she was in a dress with rollers in her hair or something like that already, or like, you know, whatever. It was like this ease that comes with it. And like, is that, I don't know. There's just something there. It's stuck in my mind. Is that part of it? Is that part of the illusion? And again, I'm not going to spoil the movie, but like in this painting of like women should be, I just think of incels when we think of this, when we're talking about this. It's just like, what are the people that want this? Like, what are the people that benefit from it, right? Or they think they benefit from it. Because like, to your point, like, I don't know, if we were all evolved human beings here, like, I think the world would be a much better place. Yeah. I don't know. These are just the things that are sticking out. Wow.
Yeah, it's like women are like the Asana or the Notion board of the world.
They're the databases of,
And what would happen if we just didn't show up for work tomorrow?
Or just did, I mean.
Like, if women literally just all were like, nope, the world would fall apart in a day.
I mean, I was even thinking about this with your wedding when I was like, you know, I was like I got my nails done and like I went and bought like new like lip crap. And I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Yes. 1,000%.
Like,
yes.
I don't know. I think of it constantly and I'm just like,
what the fuck?
The Alyssa Edwards in my mind goes like, what the fuck is going on up in here on this day? Anyway. Wow. Yes. I know. Yeah. Wow. Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, good work.
I think that's an interesting question for the audience, and maybe we'll put it on Instagram stories. Like, when do you feel like a bad lady?
Ooh. Every day. I feel like a bad lady every day.
Right. But yeah, like every day, but like when? Like why? Like what's going on about it?
I'm not doing any of this right.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it all wrong.
I would love to know the stories.
Do it all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a good one. Yeah. Or send us an email. Send us a letter.
Yes, send us an email.
Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Do You Ever Feel Like?
Yes, friends. Thank you.
You can leave us a review. I'm saying this in this part right now. Leave us a
Great,
review.
love it.
We love getting your reviews. It really helps us out. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Apple Podcasts really helps us though. So if you have a little iPhone, like I know you do, just log in. Come on.
Just log in.
Leave us a little review. It helps out the pod. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Is that it? Is that all of our things? Alrighty. Well, good work.
Good work to us all. You know what?
Yeah,
ladies,
I gotta go lie down.
Women, go lie down. Women is the point. Go lie down. Go lie down.
I think that Ali Wong sketch sometimes too. I want to work. I want to watch Ellen. I want to lie down. I want to lie down. No, I want to watch the Drew Barrymore show and lie down.
Oh, Drew. Fashion icon. Style icon. Okay.
Style icon for sure. All right. Well, bye, Jacque.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Follow this chaos wherever you get your podcasts.
Our artwork is by Simon Peng. Do You Ever Feel Like is produced by Jacqueline Wills
and Phoebe Taylor. You can follow us on Instagram at DoYouEverPod.
You can write to us at doyoueverpod@gmail.com. Okay, bye!